Hello, thanks for taking a few minutes from your time to focus on safety. As educators, we know the importance of students feeling safe at school and the impact that that can have on learning. The School District of Washington is a safe place to learn, and that's thanks to each of you watching this video today. As we know, however, tragedy can strike in an instant, and we have to be prepared to respond to keep our students safe. The safety team in this short video today are going to cover some procedures that have been put in place to respond and to react in the event of an emergency. Thanks again for all that you do for the School District of Washington and to keep your students safe.
It's really important, making eye contact with the folks that put me here. Why safety is important. I think part of that is a no-brainer for us, that this is the safest place for kids. So how do we maintain that, specifically in times of drills or emergencies? The best piece that we can offer is having very precise and clear-cut procedures. And I think the most important one that we do for safety is attendance. Having attendance, taking attendance early in the hour, so that we can have accurate accountability for all kids in the case of an emergency. And I think to follow up with that, knowing the procedures, knowing the drills to be able to differentiate between the different drills, and that whoever steps in for you, that you have clear rosters and they can find the handy dandy flip chart to take with you in whatever drill that we're doing. Really important for safety drills is to treat every drill as if it's the real thing. So really take it seriously when you're doing a lockdown or a lockout drill, fire drill, any of them, take it seriously. It will reinforce the importance and what we're supposed to do in those drills.
Hi, I'm Shelley Struckoff. I am a counselor here at Washington Middle School. And when I think of safety, I think about making sure that we provide a safe environment where kids can come to school and learn. Because if they are here and they are worried about their safety, it is going to take away from their ability to function in the classroom. So I would say that that is the most important thing for us to consider when thinking about safety in the school district. I routinely walk around with the resource officer during all of our drills here at Washington Middle School. And the one thing I think I would remind everyone is how important it is to take each drill that we do very seriously so that our students and we are prepared in case of an emergency.
Hey guys, I'm Officer Gibby. I'm the school resource officer over at the middle school. Hope you're all enjoying your professional development day. If you're not, that's too bad. You got to watch this video anyways. We're here to talk to you about door safety in our buildings. You all know Stacy Secor, the assistant principal at the middle school. Stacy, what is this?
Hope this is not a trick question, but this is an exterior door.
You are right. This is an exterior door and we are in a classroom. Can you tell me, Stacy, what is wrong with this picture?
First, the window should be covered and we have a clip. No need to have a clip because the door should never be opened. Never propped open for any reason. It should be closed and locked at all times.
You're exactly right. Thank
you.
All right, so now we're going to be talking about your classroom door that is used by your students, the front doors. Shelley, do you have any important things to let us know about these doors?
I do have some important things to know about these doors. These doors are to be locked at all times. No student should be able to enter these from the outside. They should be locked and shut either all the way or they can be shut right here to the clip, but never propped all the way open.
And remember, folks, that your school resource officer will frequently be walking around your buildings and checking to make sure that your doors are locked. Please don't get upset with them. That's our job, and safety is our top priority. So we'll come around and make sure your door's locked. If it's not locked, we will lock it. And if your door's propped open, we'll put the clip in the door and we will shut it. That is standard across all of our buildings in the entire district, and it's expected that every teacher follow that. And again, it's for the safety of the students. So please make sure that your door is locked and clipped. Also behind me, we have the emergency sheet here for lockout, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter. Just as a reminder for you, you need to make sure that that sheet is also on your door. If it is not, please get your administrator and they will get you one. We would like to take some time to talk about the different drills, and the first one that we're going to talk about is the lockdown drill. We're going to do two separate scenarios for you. The first one is how not to do it, and the second one will be how to do it. And you're in luck because we actually found a classroom full of students that have never graduated Washington Middle School. They've been here for quite a few years. So they have done a lot of these drills and they know exactly what to do and what not to do. So I'm going to hand it over to the teacher and let her demonstrate how not to do a lockdown drill.
Okay, students, it's time for a lockdown drill.
Drill.
So stupid.
Wow, ridiculous.
So dumb.
These never mean anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
What are you guys doing tonight?
Yep.
Casey, did you get your homework done?
Absolutely not.
No.
Never
Not
got a
yet.
I need
chance.
to copy somebody's. Anybody got theirs
Yeah.
right here?
I just Googled all the answers.
Oh, wait, that-
Yeah.
Hey, can you
have
just quiet
it?
down maybe a little bit?
No, I can't talk right
So,
now.
you know, just
What?
quiet down a little bit.
All right, start
You're a little too loud.
All right.
All right.
Just a little bit. You can whisper. I mean, that's not a big deal. That's okay.
No,
Okay.
We'll be a little quieter.
Okay.
And I'm sure you noticed many things that went wrong in that scenario. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show you a proper lockdown drill.
Okay, students, time for a lockdown drill.
And obviously you can see on camera right now that you cannot see anything. And there's a reason for that. This is exactly what it needs to look like in your classrooms during a lockdown drill. I know that when the officers come through the buildings to do these lockdown drills, it's kind of disruptive and it messes up your classroom for the day. But it's important that every one of you remember that we do this for a reason, to keep our students safe. And it's really important that you remember to take it seriously every time that we do a drill. In the event that something actually does happen, our students are prepared and know what to do. So some of the things that I want to highlight to remind you for a lockdown drill is to shut your door. The door should already be locked, as we already explained, but you pull your clip and the door is now shut. No one can enter into your classroom. In this specific classroom, we have two different windows. We have an exterior window and we have a window over the door. Both of those windows were covered up, which you need to do in a lockdown drill. Most importantly, the students need to be up and they need to be against a wall, and they need to be down and they need to be quiet. Oftentimes when we do these drills, staff and officers will walk through the hallways and we can hear students talking. Please keep your students quiet. That is very important, all right? We don't know, if we don't hear them, we don't know that anyone's in there, okay? And also your red-green cards, these are very important. You need to make sure that you take attendance so you know who is in your room, who is not in your room. If everyone is in your room and you have no problems, display this. You can slide it under your door, you can put it in the window. However, to make sure that the police department sees it, this are very important. If we do not see one of these cards, then we automatically treat it as a red. If you had a student that went to the restroom and they are not in their classroom at the time you do a lockdown, put a red card out, but do not open your door. Even if they come back and they're knocking on the door, you do not let them in. That is for the safety of all the people in your classroom. A question that SROs get asked a lot is, why should we put this card outside of our room? If we put it outside of our room, then the bad guy is going to know that there's someone in the room. And that's a very good question. But you need to remember that the people that come into our buildings with ill intent are cowards, and they go after what we call soft targets. They are going to run through the hallways and they're going to look for an open door. That's why it's important to always make sure that your door is locked. They're not coming on a Saturday. They know that there's people in the room. They're going to pass your door up if they know that it's locked. They're not going to know what these are. They're not going to pay attention to them, okay? But the reason that these are so important is when law enforcement does come into the building, we are going to hit the red rooms up first because we know that there's a problem. The green rooms are going to stay locked because we know that you guys are good. This way that we can tend to the people that need us the most quickly.
Hi, I'm Carrie Schmidt at the Washington Middle School, and I was asked to tell you the proper procedures of a lockout drill. A lockout is whenever we have a threat, an exterior threat outside of the building. There's not an immediate danger on the inside of the school building. So as a teacher, the first thing that I would do would be to make sure that my classroom door is locked, pull the clip so that the door is shut and the threat cannot enter my classroom. I would also make sure that my windows are covered. I have 2 windows, one to the outside, I would pull my shade, and 1 window in my door where I have a curtain that can fully cover it. If I have any students in the hallway, I would pull them in before I close my door and just continue teaching. If any of my students had gone to the restroom and they return, they knock on the door and I see that it's them, I can let them back into the classroom. Just to ensure the safety of everyone, if an emergency arises and someone has to use the restroom, I would make sure that they have a buddy going with them to the restroom so that I can ensure their safety.
All right, we always get the question for lockdown, lockout, like where do we go if we're in passing time outside, recess, or the cafeteria? So in lockdown, you have to know where your secondary location is. If you're not sure, ask your administrator, because that is where you'll report to for a lockdown. In the case of a lockout, you are going to come inside if you're outside, and if you're in the cafeteria, passing time, or recess, you'll head back to your last class where you had your attendance taken. Where piggyback on why it's so important to take attendance first thing once your kids are there so we can have an accurate account and accountability of all students.
For all evacuation drills, you should have a designated spot that your classroom goes to. If you do not know where that spot is, make sure you get with your admin and clarify it with them. In the event of an evacuation, please lead your students. You take them out of your classroom and just make an announcement that the last student leaving should shut the door. So you can take your clip with you. Your door should be locked when you go. Take your red-green card with you and then report to your administrators, however your building has it set up, whether it be through the radio or through your Google form, however that works. Report to your administrators right away your attendance. That way, if there's anybody missing, we can get into the building and find them and get them evacuated from the building. All right, so now I want to take some time to talk about sheltering in place for the tornado or earthquake drills. So for the tornado, you're going to go to your predetermined spot that your classroom has. You should already know what that is. If you do not know what that is, please get with your administrator. You should know that in the event of a tornado or tornado drill. You go to that location, you're going to drop, cover, and hold, and you're going to stay there and you're going to wait for instructions that everything is safe to return back to your classrooms. And for an earthquake, you're going to stay in your rooms, you're going to get under tables, desks, anywhere where you can get cover. You're going to drop, cover, and hold. And once the shaking stops and it's safe, then you will follow your evacuation procedures. Grab your red-green card, lead your students out of the building, make sure that the last person that exit shuts your door. Thank you. It just occurred to me that when you're evacuating the building, your normal route may be blocked. So be prepared for that and be creative and think of other ways to get to the spot that you need to be to take attendance so that we know everyone is safe in the building. Some final things that we would like to touch on is in the event that you do have to go to your secondary location for an event, know that the district has procedures, protocols in place for reunification. Stay there until you hear from an administrator or from the police department, and we know that we are actively working on reunification to get students to their parents and to get you guys to a secure location. Also, make sure your students know, have the discussion with your students about all of these evacuations and all these drills. In the event that something happens to you and you cannot lead them, our students need to know to be able to take care of themselves. So have that conversation with your students. Make sure they know that in a fire drill, evacuation drill, they know exactly where to go. In a tornado drill, they know where to go. That way that they can handle it in the event that they need to. Just have that conversation with them. We also have AEDs in every building, so make sure you know where those are at, and also be familiar with the other staff in your building that are CPR certified in the event that you need to get one of them really quickly. So, if there's any safety issues at all that you know of, please let administration or one of your school resource officers know right away so that we can work to correct that, okay? And above all else, just do what you do and protect the students. The students are first, and we always have your back, and we're going to support you. Let us know if you need us. Thank you.
So here at the School District of Washington, we've always taken safety very seriously. Every year we analyze what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Try to make the best decisions possible. Today's video is just to remind everybody what to do and to give you just 10 minutes to pause and think about the safety of your students. Ultimately, what we're trying to do, not only are we keeping our students safe here in our classrooms, in our schools, but we're also teaching them life habits. What will they take forward with them as adults into their own families, in their own communities? One of the things that we have really focused in on is our policies and procedures when it comes to hide first, then run, then fight. And we do it in that order because of the safety that we have in our classrooms and the best practices that we feel will keep the most students safe. So we follow those habits as we go forward. When we do our practices and our drills, we do them so that we have a purpose. Complacency has no effect for us. Always have a purpose when we do these drills because our students are trained in that manner. We will exhibit and we will practice accordingly. Thank you for watching the video. And as you have heard from the other presenters, if you have questions, concerns, comments, or even want to bring forth better practices, it's all about having those professional conversations and working together, again, to ensure the safety of our students.